Welcome to Whisky.com, where fine spirits meet. My name is Horst Lüning, and this is my son Ben. And today we have a bottle here, our cask, which is very, very, very important. It's the Johnnie Walker Red Label. It's one of the most often sold whiskies in the world, and if you're very exact in the definition of whiskey, then it's the most often sold whiskey in the world. If you're having your, the interpretation of whiskey a little broader, then there is an Indian whiskey, which is more spread in the world. It's the McDowell, more often sold in the world, not spread in the world, sorry. The Johnnie Walker.
Yeah, it's the very, very low end. It's called the Red Label, and you can see the bottle here. It has a red label on it, and you see the Johnnie Walker below. And it has 40% ABV, which is 80 proof for all you Americans. It's a 07 liter bottle. It's chill filtered, it has coloring, and there is no age statement on it. So that's around the bottle. And it doesn't really compete with what we usually taste, because it's the very low end, and actually it's a bit below what we usually taste in front of the camera. But
it's very important.
It's cheap.
We have to. No, it's not that cheap. There are a lot of discount whiskies which are a lot cheaper than this one. So this is a branded whiskey. Means there is a lot of marketing effort worldwide about this bottle, and the sales are, as said, the highest in the world. And if you look very carefully at this bottle, you see that the Johnnie Walker, the dandy, is working from left to right. So this is a new bottle I bought in the local supermarket. And in former times, the dandy walked from the right to the left. So I think it was around the 80s when they changed the walking direction of the dandy to the opposite side. And this has to do with the...
It's about ergonomics. I had this in what do you call it, at university. When you have something that is positive, you go from left to right, and you go from down to up. Like when you have your needle on your speedometer, it goes up and right, so it's getting, the speed is increased. So this is more positive if it goes into the direction right. In the filmmaking, I had a crash course about filmmaking. When you go from left to right, you go to the adventure, and when you return home, you go to the left, so you turn home. You can see this in all of the big big films like Star Wars. Luke Skywalker walked right to Mos Eisley, where he went off, and not Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, they went right and to their adventure, and they returned home to the left. So he is actually going away from his home and, I don't know, walking somewhere.
But if I remember right, there was a marketing sentence, returning home or
no, keep walking, Johnnie Walker.
Keep walking, yeah, but before the come to a rest, something like this. Yeah.
I don't know if this was a big hit. There was a game we had at Moorhuhn in Germany. Did you know the international title? It was about grouse, about Johnnie Walker hunting the famous grouse. It was a little shoot-up game and went viral back in, I don't know, when was that? 90s? Around 2000, I think, around the millennium. And it was a big hit, but nobody realized that it was Johnnie Walker. It just had the Johnnie Walker label in the front, and otherwise you just saw the grouse. Because the famous grouse is the second best sold blend of the Scottish
in Scotland.
In Scotland.
No, it's the best selling blend in Scotland itself, the famous grouse.
But it's the second biggest brand of the Scottish. Because that sells better than the famous grouse, but it sells internationally. I don't know, sure. But famous grouse is a big blend in Scotland as well.
In Scotland, yes. So it's a blended whiskey, means there's a certain amount of malt whiskey in it, and it is said that it has 15% malt whiskey in it. It might be 10% or it might be 20% malt whiskey, but they work in a highly competitive market. So I would suggest that the malt content is not that big. The rest is grain whiskey, industrial whiskey. In former times, most of this whiskey was produced from maize, from corn. But today, the yield from wheat is higher than from maize, so it's cheaper to produce the industry whiskey, the grain whiskey from wheat instead of maize. So the rest of it should be wheat whiskey.
Wheat whiskey.
Unmalted wheat whiskey.
Unmalted. Yeah. We really don't know what is in there. I know that there is a bit of Kalila in there.
Officially said there's Cardu in it.
Cardu, and they say that the smokiness in there comes from the Kalila. Yeah.
And then there is a Johnnie Walker Green. I tasted that already here. It's a blended malt whiskey, so 100% malt whiskey. And there you can see that there is also Craigenmore in it, and Diluane, I think, is in it.
Mm-hmm.
So Diageo is in the possession of most of the malt, or the big amount of malt whiskey distilleries in Scotland. So there might be, and this is the best-selling whiskey, and there's the Jane B as well from Diageo, which has Kalila in it as well. So a lot of those distilleries work for Johnnie Walker. So we should find all them, or most of them, in this whiskey. If you look carefully at the back label, it said colored with sugar caramel, and of course it's chill filtered. Of course, it has no age statement, just 3 years and a day, and because there's so much competitiveness in the market, you use the casks for the maturation an awful lot of times. So 3 years, and you typically say you get 30 years out of a cask. So there will be a first fill and 9 refills, and the average should be 5 fills for this bottle. Yeah, so you have to have this sugar caramel in it.
Otherwise it will be pretty clear.
Pretty clear, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's it.
That's it?
Yeah.
Don't have anything.
The bottle shape, it's this rectangular shape with the rounded edges, and this is it was so famous, or is so famous in the world. There are some producers. I remember one from the Eastern Germany when it was in the communist bloc. They used nearly exactly the same bottle, but they had a gold label on it. So. And the content was awful. So whenever you compete with the world, you have to compete with Johnnie Walker Red Label. There's a screw cap on it, so this is mass production. It's quite stable. I typically do not like these very light, where you can turn them over. It's quite okay.
How much did it cost at the supermarket?
15.
15, okay.
15 or less.
I would
more than the very discount whiskies. The very discount are around 7 to 8 euros, dollars, pounds, depending on your local tax. And this one is, say, the double of the lower end.
Okay. I do get unidentified sweetness, but it's damp somehow.
Muddy.
Yeah.
And you smell the alcohol.
Yeah, that's definitely, yeah. But it's a strange kind of alcoholic note.
Schnapps.
Yeah, it's also a bit damper than, I don't know.
And there is a little smokiness in it, so 3 to 5 ppm.
Very little smokiness. There's not much Kalila in there. But the deeper I go in, the more it reminds me of the, what's it called? The Spirit, the fresh made, the white whiskey. The more you stick your nose in.
Yeah, it's a young one.
So and yeah,
So
it's pretty flat.
It's pretty flat. It's not that bad. It's a whiskey.
It's a whiskey. It's if I would compare it to, let's say, a vodka, I would say, oh, this is really good. But if you compare it to a single malt, or let's say I don't know, 10-year-old bourbon, or any good whiskey, then it's flat.
In the beginning, it's quite oily. It's the grain whiskey in it, and then as soon as you empty your tongue, then it's sharp. It's aggressive.
Yeah, you have a bit of aggressiveness. You have a bit of an alcohol tone. I have to say, I like the Octomore, and 57%. I like the cask strength. So, it's for me the bitterness is a bit disappointing. You have it in your mouth. Yeah, a little bit of sweetness. It's not overwhelming sweetness. When you swallow it, this just bitterness gets around in your mouth, and it's just a bit of a off-taking.
Yeah. And it's now the smoke is getting stronger, and it's like burned rubber tires. No, that's too much. No, not that evil. No,
it's a.
But the aftertaste is short, not the bitterness, but the rest. The bitterness stays on, and the aftertaste is short.
It's just. Again, if you want to say something positive, it's just if you have vodka and if you have this Johnnie Walker, it has taste. You have it in your mouth and you have something to taste, but it's just very flat. There's not that much to taste, and this bitterness is a bit off-taking. It's not the bitterness that you know from my point of view. It's not from the cask where you have the European cask that makes a bit of bitterness or bittersweet chocolate, but it's more of a, for me, it's like a bitter lettuce or a bitter vegetable or something like that.
Yeah, if you look at the cask, then in the beginning, the alcohol extracts all the vanilla, all the caramel, and then in the end it just extracts tannins, bitter tannins. And if those tannins are extracted and not combined with the rest, then you have this extreme bitterness coming through. But to say something good, there are discount whiskies costing half that much, and they are a lot worse.
Yeah.
So I would say this one would go very well into a drink, into a sweet cocktail. There, the bitterness will give these the contra to the sweetness and give the.
Usually, you can easily get something sweet into your drink, like take any juice that's usually sweet. But getting bitterness into your drink is a bit hard. So mixers tend to use I don't know, gin or some kind of that stuff, and that gives you just a different note of bitterness. So for mixing, it's good. And if you have the choice between a vodka and Johnnie Walker and another no-name whiskey, then go for the Johnnie Walker. Okay. But if there is like a Johnnie Walker, you have an Aberlour.
Or you have a Johnnie Walker Green.
And the Maker's Mark or a Johnnie Walker Green.
Or Johnnie Walker 12.
Don't go for the red.
Johnnie Walker 12.
12, anything.
Also double. It's black.
Yeah, it's just
the entry level.
The entry level for whiskey, I would say, for Scotch whiskey.
Yeah, the rest below is no whiskey. No.
The rest below is no whiskey. Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much for watching. If you found this video interesting, then please feel free to give us a thumbs up or share it with any of your friends. And as always, stay healthy, stay horny.